Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to 11 straight minutes of NBA facts. This is by Johnny Arnett. Without further ado, let's get right into it, man.
As just about every basketball fan knows, Wilt Chamberlain has the highest scoring performance in NBA history, when he dropped 100 points against the New York Knicks in 1962. In order to achieve that legendary total, Wilt had to play all 48 minutes of that game. Now, some people might think that Wilt playing every minute naturally makes that performance less impressive, but I'm not sure that's the case. Because the reality is, just about no other player could have scored 100 points, even if you prorate their minutes to 48. For example, in the game where Kobe dropped 81 points, he still ends up well short, even if you adjust his production to per 48 minutes. Kobe's game where he scored 62 in just 3 quarters still ends up short. Even Klay Thompson's 60-point performance in just 29 minutes ends up short, as he gets just 99 points if you adjust his production to 48 minutes. With that being said, there is one and only one. With a minimum of 15 minutes played, only one player in the history of the NBA could be prorated to outscore Wilt if he theoretically played all 48 minutes. To me, this legitimizes his case for the greatest player of all time. It was none other than the legendary Kevin Love.
What?
This crazy performance wasn't all that long ago, as it occurred on April 10th, 2022, in a victory over the Milwaukee Bucks. In only 15 minutes of action, Love had 32 points and 10 rebounds on 62% shooting from the field. If you adjusted that utterly insane production to 48 minutes, then he would have finished the game with 102 points, 32 rebounds, and an NBA record 25 three-pointers made.
I wish the fuck he would try to do that against my Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis would have to beat his ass or something. You gotta elbow that nigga in the face or something. Yeah, you can't do that against my Bucks. Do that against some other team. Don't do that against my Bucks. He did it against any other team, fine. Bucks, hell no.
Talk about a good night. Basically everyone either remembers or is at least aware of the iconic NBA dunk contest in 2000, where Vince Carter famously put on a show with some of the most incredible dunks the competition had ever seen. One of those remarkable dunks was his famous elbow dunk, also known as the honey dip dunk, which required Carter to leap high above the rim to the extent that he was able to put his entire forearm into the basket. Much of the basketball community has assumed that Carter was the originator of this dunk,
Not at all.
but that's not actually the case. A guy who did it before him was another superstar player that you may have heard of before. His name is Kobe Bryant. It happened all the way back in the summer of 1997, during an event that has since been discontinued. The event was called a Midsummer Night's Magic, and this was an annual charity event hosted by Magic Johnson. The weekend would include a game involving many of the league's brightest stars, and it also included a dunk contest. In this specific dunk-off, amazing leapers like Tracy McGrady, Ray Allen, and Brent Barry were all showing off their stuff alongside of the Mamba. But with his final dunk, Kobe did the iconic elbow dunk, nearly 3 years before Vince Carter made it famous. But the thing is, even that wasn't the first instance of a pro basketball player doing the dunk. One of the earlier players to do it was the Harlem Globetrotter Barry Hardy, who did this windmill honey dip dunk in 1994.
But to be fair, he's a Harlem Globetrotter. They're known for doing crazy stuff.
But even before him was another fantastic athlete by the name of Roy Hinson. During the warm-ups of the 1986 NBA dunk contest, Hinson casually did the honey dip dunk. It's not confirmed whether or not this was the first time an NBA player has ever done this, but this is the furthest back that I've ever seen. Scoring 40 points in an NBA game is impressive, but it's something else entirely if you can do it efficiently. Many great players have had efficient scoring explosions throughout the years, but the player who has the most efficient 40-point game in NBA history might just surprise you. On February 23, 2023, Miles Turner dropped 40 points against the Boston Celtics in an overtime loss.
Fuck Indiana and fuck Miles Turner.
142-138. On the night, Turner scored his points by being 13 of 15 from the field, 8 of 10 from the three-point line, and 6 of 7 from the free throw line. That translates to a true shooting percentage of 110.6%. That's 40 points on well over 100% efficiency. That is a feat that's so remarkable that it would have been completely impossible to accomplish prior to 1979 due to the lack of the three-point line in the NBA. Apparently, winning isn't just an aspect of the Defensive Player of the Year voting, but it's a full-on requirement. In the history of the league, there has been a total of 42 DPOY winners, and each and every time the player won the award, his team also made the playoffs. What's interesting though is that apparently this same rule doesn't apply to the League MVP award, because back in 1976, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of the Los Angeles Lakers actually won the award, despite the fact that his team missed the playoffs.
How?
With only a 40-42 record.
How?
With that being said, that was not the worst team record of any MVP winner ever, because in 1956, the Hall of Fame big man Bob Pettit won the MVP award despite the fact that his Hawks finished with only a 33-39 record.
White people bias. I'm putting white people bias on that one.
It might seem shocking that his St. Louis Hawks even made it to the playoffs with that record, but that's because 6 out of the 8 total teams in the league qualified at that time in history. Imagine having a 72-game regular season just to eliminate the 2 worst teams in the league. Imagine how embarrassing that was for those 2 teams. Michael Jordan was a great scorer, and many will argue that he's the greatest scorer in NBA history. Now there's many stats that you can use to support that claim, but this is quite possibly the most impressive one. Between 1986 and 1998, Michael Jordan had played in 36 separate playoff series, and he was the series top scorer in each and every one of those series. 36 straight playoff series, and MJ remained on top. Michael Jordan was never outscored in the playoffs, with the exception of this one specific series. It was the very first of his career in his rookie season in 1984, and he was just narrowly bested. In 4 games against the Milwaukee Bucks, MJ averaged 29.3 points on 43.6% shooting. The guy who bested him was one of the most underrated power forwards of his era, by the name of Terry Cummings. Terry averaged 29.5 points on a tremendous 63.4% shooting, solidifying himself as the only man to ever outscore Michael Jordan in a playoff series. Winning an NBA championship is a tough thing to accomplish. Usually that's an honor reserved for veteran teams. You know, guys who are battle-tested and have experience. But this isn't always the case. And the best example of that is the 1977 Portland Trail Blazers. This was the only championship team in Blazers history, but they're even more significant than just that, as they were the youngest championship team in NBA history, as the squad had an average age of 24.2 years old. They only had one player above the age of 27, and roughly half of their roster was either in their rookie year or in their sophomore season.
Damn.
Despite their lack of experience, they still dominated when the games mattered the most, and they won the championship in 6 games over Julius Erving and the Philadelphia 76ers. To this day, they remain the ultimate example of why you shouldn't automatically write off a team simply because of their youth. Generally speaking, the teams who win the most regular season games are the teams that win the championships. In the history of the league, 14 franchises have won over 50% of the regular season games during their lifespan. The team with the greatest win percentage is the San Antonio Spurs, followed by the Boston Celtics, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns are at 4th and 5th. Of those 14 franchises with at least a 50% win rate, all of them have won a championship during their lifespan, with the exception of just 2, and that is in fact the 4th placed Utah Jazz and the 5th placed Phoenix Suns. Despite being in the top 5 most dominant regular season franchises of all time, neither of those 2 teams have been able to reach the mountaintop, regardless of the fact that the Suns began playing in 1968 and the Jazz in 1974. Let me know in the comments why you think this is the case. As things currently stand, there seems to be no end in sight for these streaks. But who knows? As the saying goes, there's always next year. At this point, we all know LeBron James has some insane longevity, and there's tons of ways to try to convey that. But this is arguably the most stunning way of them all. At the end of LeBron's rookie season, he became the youngest player in NBA history to make an All-NBA team. And at the end of his 21st season in the league, which was the 2023 to 2024 season, LeBron also became the oldest player to ever make an All-NBA team as well. If that is not an impressive case of longevity and consistency, then I don't know what is. So now it's your turn. What is an interesting NBA fact that you'd like to share with the rest of us? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Alrighty, man, that's just gonna about do it for this one. I will see you all in the next one. Till then, peace out.